Very excited to be here with Mauricio Satapaz from Bank of America for our second customer spotlight today. Somehow we landed the penultimate spot. You must have impressed people last year. It's hard to believe it's been just over a year since we discussed enterprise deployment at Bank of America. Care to share a brief update with us?
Sure. Thank you again for inviting and for being such a good partner. A year ago, we were announcing that we had signed 100,000 licenses at Bank of America, primarily because of federation, to be able to allow our regulated employees to be able to communicate on WhatsApp when clients wanted it and to do it in a compliant manner. So I'm pleased to say that only a year later, we've rolled it out to 86,000 people in 38 different countries.
Yeah.
And in businesses, we are Bank of America, so 66,000 of them were in the US. But, and the businesses, I was very impressed with all the different types. So the biggest, the Thundering Herd, Merrill Lynch Wealth Management business. The second biggest, global technology. Then global banking and consumer. We don't get to global research, investment banking, credit, and then finally there's one more, ultra high net worth. So the business is very, very diverse, and we were able to do it in a quick amount of time.
Yeah, it was an extremely quick amount of time, but it was a methodic and careful deployment process. So there obviously can be challenges with scaling up at that size. How did Bank of America overcome or address those challenges?
So I think the biggest challenge for us that I saw was that, and I'm not a tech guy, I run electronic sales for Bank of America, so I'm going to talk from getting people who were not believers to believe. Bank of America had a proof of concept in 2016. They had 2,000 licenses, but by 2021, only 600 of them were being used. And when we did this big rollout, people were concerned that there wouldn't be the right support system, that the right tools to have mobile, to have WhatsApp, to have the ability to share files or pictures, and that it would be properly supported and not fragmented, that we would build a community. And so we had to do a lot of, we bribed people with lunch, we did a lot of workshops, we did demos, we did meet and greets by the cafeteria in the coffee places. The Symphony team was great, and we showed them what some of our competitors were doing to get them excited. We showed them bots, we showed them AI tools, and then people slowly started to believe, and the usage and the take-up has been very good.
Yeah. So I think you hit on a common theme that Wells Fargo, our first customer spotlight, mentioned this morning, which was the importance of a proof of concept, right? Being able to establish that basic building block to have further absorbance and understanding. So it is truly remarkable. I know the Symphony team has been working with Bank of America globally to have those lunch and learns. We've been to Chicago and New York and London. Some being scheduled in APAC over the summer, and lobby, just general awareness campaigns have really helped drive some of that usage and adoption. So when we think of taking that on so quickly, putting a tool into people's hands, what have been some unforeseen benefits of having that audience go from a few thousand or a few hundred to tens of thousands?
So I would say two that pop to mind now. One, we did get funding to revamp our single dealer platform, Instinct, and we hired a company to help us that had UI and UX developers to help us build it a lot quicker, and connecting them that were not part of the firm with our quants, with our tech, with our traders, with our sales, to be able to share demos, designs, mock-ups. That was very useful. And then the second with sponsored access has been very successful. We've rolled it out to 8 to 10 different companies, which I can touch on later.
Sure. Terrific. So Symphony provides access via desktop, browser, and mobile. when we're going to talk a little bit about the most important one there. How has the extension to mobile been received compared to the previous access that Bank of America granted?
So it's been a game changer. So we had a very fragmented chat strategy. You can all imagine the different ones that exist. None of them have a very good mobile tool. Some of them shut down when you leave the office, or it's not fluid. Some of them just don't have it. And by having, if you give, people will go to email very quickly if you can't reach someone when you're in a meeting or when you're traveling. And our traders and our salespeople travel a lot. That was one of the things that helped us a lot. I think one of our, NatWest said that their email traffic dropped 25%. I was quite impressed because our calculations are about 20, so I'm quite jealous. But I thought that was one of the benefits, and I think there's much more to do. I think we will reduce it more. And look, clients, when logistics, clients love to have that message that you're running late or your flight got delayed on WhatsApp, but you're not supposed to use it. It's not compliant. Having mobile to send to a client's WhatsApp is very powerful.
Yeah, and one is traveling like that. The other is the full stop of even commuting, right? When you close your computer to catch a train or a bus and not be able to do anything further for a client can create a challenging service situation when you're trying to be best in class. So let's shift gears and discuss use cases. Now that Bank of America has provided enterprise support and additional resources behind the enterprise deployment, what use cases are you seeing develop internally?
Sure. So I think the first one that I mentioned earlier, sponsored access. We were finding that our client services team, our e-sales team, our trading team, our technology teams, we're still communicating on email because the partners that we're working with externally did not have Symphony. And so we have sponsored access, and which is 500 entities, up to 10 licenses per entity. And so yes, you can give them to clients that don't have Bloomberg, which is great. You can do more business, it's captive, they get a better service. But we also waste a lot of time with client onboarding, trade failures, credit, projects that are critical with something being launched over the weekend, and having Symphony with these partners. So I mean, there's a list, FX SpotStream, which I know someone's in the house from FX SpotStream, SGX, which is a Singapore exchange that owns BidFX and MaxTrader, United FinTech, Lucera, FlexTrade, FX Connect, and Reactive Markets have all agreed to take up this trial, and some of them have already become clients of Symphony and expanded it to the whole firm. So that's just one example of how we're using it.
So I think you're saying over the course of the first 6 months, as you've scaled up, if someone is not on Symphony, you're using sponsored access to consider bringing them in, and that's for partners, vendors, asset managers, counterparties. Terrific.
Yeah, that's how we grow the community.
Now, let's talk about what's next. Bots, you've mentioned a few things at the high level. Voice, integrations. What does Bank of America see on the horizon?
Yeah, absolutely. I think now that in the last 6 months we've convinced everyone at Bank of America that Symphony should be the center for work automation, for querying, for alerting, for data visualization. And we shouldn't have to toggle to different systems to access a bot, to access AI. And so whether it's equity or FX derivatives that are using it to price client flow that's requested by voice, we have bots for that. Whether it's AI that summarizes content of all the daily notes that are sent out, thousands across the day, or research. And then getting client information in natural text ahead of a client meeting to prepare you. Okay, I made that pricing change since the March meeting. How have the RFQs done? How was my hit rate? Being able to query that in natural language. And then Symphony owns Cloud9. Mm-hmm. We weren't historically working with them. We are looking at working with them. With AI, the quality of call reports, the quality of notes, transcription services are very important. garbage in, garbage out. You really need good data. And our salespeople, our traders, don't have time to write call reports, and they do complain a lot about that. So this is one of the carrots that I'm thinking of, is working with Cloud9 to make our AI better and for them not to have to write call reports.
Yeah.
For them to be meetings recorded, call notes, phone calls. Then Teams. I think the interoperability there for screen sharing, for the people that aren't regulated that might have Teams, being able to just have one tool, the directory, and being able to find from Symphony someone in Teams and contact them without having to have two different tools.
Yeah, reducing that context switching. Really terrific to spend time with you again this afternoon, Mauricio. Thank you.